Well, thank you for joining us on the Nikki Maduro Show. I'm Nikki Maduro. As always, Kim McAllister, the fabulous Kim McAllister, is here along with us. And we have a great show ahead of us. We, of course, towards the end, Kim, we will get light in our news and talk, of course, about the engagement of the one and only Taylor Swift. But we will have more serious news, of course, to start off with. But before we get to that, please make sure that you have hit that thumbs up and that subscribe button. And as always, big thank you to all of our supporters that have supported us from the very beginning. And if you're a new supporter, please consider donating to our Patreon or our PayPal. All of the links can be found in the show notes. And our super chat and super stickers are always open, whether we are live or in a recording. Okay, so tragic news out of Minnesota. Kim, we were talking right before the show, before we aired, that, you know, I didn't even really want to talk about it because it happens so often in America that it's just, you could replace the location, the time, and, you know, the number of dead, unfortunately. But mass shootings involving children happens way too often. And this one, first week of school, Catholic school, at last check while we're doing this show, 2 dead, an 8 and a 10-year-old, more than a dozen people injured. And what we know about the suspect who unlived himself was that he was trans. Or she was trans, right? So transitioned from a man to a woman, from Robert to Robin, right? Yes. So a lot to unpack here. First off, the fact that it happened at a school, first day of school, watching the news, okay? And I'm just going to play this because it's been all over the news, but it's something that I do believe, and we know this coming from, you know, KGO and the journalism background, we understand sound and that interview and that sound bite or that picture that's really going to grab people. Okay. But can we just stop interviewing children? Because
thank you. Yes.
It makes it so hard.
Yeah.
These children are traumatized anyway. They just are. Okay. And this is the one that's just been going around. This is on CNN, but I'm not going to blame CNN because I think it was a local station that did this.
With a 5th grader who survived the shooting, Weston Halsney, just 10 years old. Listen.
It was like shots fired, and then we kind of like got under the pews. It kind of, they shot through the stained glass windows, I think. And it was really scary.
What did you do after that?
Well, we waited like 10 to 5 minutes. I don't really know. And then we went to the gym, and then the doors locked just to make sure he didn't come. And we waited in the gym for more news, and everyone was okay. Or most people were okay.
Who were your friend, Wes?
My friend got hit in the back.
Did he go to the hospital?
Yeah, he went to the hospital.
What went through your mind when you saw that?
I was super scared for him, but I think now he's okay.
It's very exploitative, I think, to interview a kid like that. I get that they want the story. I get that they want witnesses. I get that even that the story, it makes the viewer, it tugs at your heartstrings when it's a kid that goes through it.
And it makes you angry and it makes you like feel something. Didn't we feel something before? Right. Was the story not heartbreaking enough? As a parent though, Kim, you know, his parents are there. I could never allow and I'm not judging, like I know a million things are probably running through your head. Okay. Like, I'm so glad my child's alive and he or she is okay. Why would you let your child be interviewed on camera? Like, get them home, get them safe. Like, I'm not trying, I guess I am judging, but like, just get them home.
So if you said a hearty no thank you to a reporter and your kid wanted to do it and they were saying, why, Mom? I want to be on TV. and you were saying no, does it send the message to your kid that you don't want to talk about it, that they should keep it all inside?
No,
I mean,
I would just be leading them. I don't know. I think that if
Yeah.
my child was involved in something like that,
mhm,
I would be sheltering them somewhere far away from the media.
yeah,
No offense to my media colleagues,
yeah,
but it's like vultures. It
Right.
is. It is just, what can we get? What soundbite? And it is your job. And I get it, but I don't want to be part of that.
no.
You know what I
mm-mm,
mean? As on the other side of that line, I would not want to be part of that.
No.
It is all you're looking for is your next soundbite, the next update. And all I'm trying to do is lessen the blow of the trauma that has
Yeah.
happened to my child
Right.
and to
Yeah.
me. I mean, as a family, because what do you always hear? And again, we go through this every time. I never thought it would happen in this
Mhm.
neighborhood. This isn't a neighborhood in which it happened. Everyone says that. Everyone says it.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that. It's a quiet neighborhood. This is a Catholic school. I mean, people pay to send their kids here. We thought we were safe. I mean,
Mhm.
and I'm not being like sarcastic when I say this. It's natural to feel that way because it should be that way.
Right.
You shouldn't have to send your kid to school and wonder if they're going to come home safe.
Yeah.
But we have this conversation over and over and over again. And then I get pissed off because you open all the online news sites and it's the same friggin' headlines where everyone gets in their respective political corners and start saying the same BS that they say every single time it happens. So it's obviously this time it's a transgender person. So now we're going to latch on to that. That's
Mhm.
the reason why it happens. Because if it was a straight, white, fill in the blank political party man,
Yeah.
mental illness was the only answer. But now that it's a transgender person, it is these Democratic liberals that are making it okay for transgender people to even exist. And
Yeah.
that's the reason why. So now
They're
it's the
making their
Dems'
kids
fault.
crazy.
Exactly. It's
But
the
you
Dems'
can't
fault.
tell me that it was easy. And this is no excuse. Trust me. But I'm just saying for what you just said, like, oh, it's the liberals' fault. My thinking is it can't have been easy for a trans person to have gone to a very religious school. I'm thinking there may have been, I mean, maybe not all Catholic schools are like this, but I'm thinking at a conservative religious school, it probably wasn't the best place for a trans person maybe to come up.
Well,
in
do
the
we
world.
know? Okay, so we know that the mom worked there. Do we
Mhm.
know that because she's going
Right.
by Robin Westman,
Right.
do we know that she went to that school?
Yeah.
Because
she
just
did
because
go to
somebody works there doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily mean that all the way back then.
Well, was reading a
she-
story that said that the shooter did attend that school.
Oh, okay. So I didn't see that.
Mhm.
Okay, so now I'm not, again,
Yeah.
I am not trying to outline this person's entire life. I don't know when this person realized that they were transgender, right?
Mhm.
This is a K through 8. So again, I'm not speaking for the transgender community. I've heard numerous stories of when people, discover their gender or decide to come out with their gender or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to insult anybody or step on any toes here. Okay. So I don't know. Did this person express their gender in school? Did they? I don't know.
I don't
Were
know.
they were they just simply bullied for being quote unquote different? Right?
Right.
I don't know. More of that may come out. I don't know. Have we heard anything from the mother? I highly doubt it at this
Probably
point.
not. She was the
But-
school secretary, retired in 2021. But
my
from what I'm reading, and they have all this information on the New York Post, where they go into detail about the Cyrillic characters and English phonetic words in this guy's diary or this woman or whatever, this person's diary, and deranged writings. He goes off on wanting to see children killed. Like, here's my thing. What they have to say about this person,
Right.
even in just like, we're on, very recent information. So
Exactly.
been too long since this happened. This isn't like a deep dive into this person 2 weeks later. This is the surface information. They were cuckoo crazy. You can't tell me that this woman who worked at a school and was around kids all the time didn't know there was something very, very wrong with her child.
With her child, yeah.
Mhm.
So she worked at the school for 5 years and retired in 2021 is what I'm reading here. So
the person that opened fire, absolutely deranged, but yet had committed no previous crimes that we
No.
know of, had no record that we know of, and
Right.
so could legally buy these weapons. And I come back to this, as you say, we say the same thing every time, right? Where were the parents? Why were the parents not looking at their kid going, I think we got a problem?
yeah.
I mean, they've purchased another weapon, or they're sure writing a lot in that diary, or they sure have some really funky posters on their wall. Maybe that needs another look. Maybe we should be talking about, this dark soul, because whether your kid's just kind of an odd duck, but whether they have a good heart, and whether or not maybe there's something really dark going on. Maybe they hide it from you, but I think you still have an inkling. I don't know, Nikki. It just seems like, I know that parents might feel
Like they know their kid and they
or,
don't.
or that they're in denial. They don't want
Exactly.
to see that there's anything wrong. They just want to gloss over it. They'll be fine. Everything's okay.
There was
But
a
they're
picture that I
not
wanted to
okay.
show. Yeah, exactly. There
Yeah.
is this picture in the New York Post. I'm trying to find it, where there's like sitting there as like a happy family. And it, obviously pictures are just pictures. Nobody's going to post a picture where you don't look happy, but it's, okay, here's the picture of him and his mom. It's really small though, but it looks like they're much younger. And I'm not going to post it because it's too small, but, it's a hard thing to do as a parent. And we both know this. You want to be in your child's life. And as they get older, you understand that they are going to be more independent.
Right.
Now, she started at the school 5 years ago. Okay. So he was 18. Did he live at home? I don't know. Right. But apparently there was a map of where his home was in relation to the church. So I'm assuming he lived at home still. So he's 18 to 20. Well, he's 23. So he spent 5 years after turning 18 at home. I'm assuming he's not going to college, or he's going to college nearby.
Right.
So you have some sort of idea that he has not launched, right? Like, we're staying home with mom and dad. We're in our room all day writing whatever weird things in this manifesto. He's taking pictures with ammunition. He's writing things on magazines. Are you not going into the room under the roof of a house you're paying for? Like, that's my thing. Like, yes, he's an adult, but you're paying for this house for a person that should be moving out. He's 23 years old. What is going on? Because he is an adult. We're not talking about a 16-year-old here that parents should know what's going on. This is a grown person that did this. And that's the difference. And that's what I think is making this more difficult in quote unquote blaming the mom. Yes, he lived with her, but he's an adult. He's an adult. I don't know.
He's a grown up, but clearly your kid, and there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I just, there is one person to blame, and that is the person who perpetrated the crime.
Yeah.
But if we're going to fix this, and we're going to do it without coming up with new gun control laws, because the nation doesn't want that, right? All the people that voted for Trump are going to be against that. And there's more of them than there are of us.
Right.
And if so, there, less than half of us want to keep our kids safe at school, is what it means to me. Then we're going to have to circumvent that process by being hyper aware parents. We're going to have to do things differently. At the first sign of trouble, we're going to have to call the psychiatrist. We're going to have to get the red flag law going to get the guns taken away. At the first sign of trouble. And if it means your kid has a record and is flagged for not owning weapons for the next 10 years, then that's what it means. But you know what it does mean? It means 17 children didn't get shot today and 2 killed.
Yeah.
20, I don't know, 19 kids or whatever it was.
Whatever it is.
Come
it's
on.
Too many. One too many. But again, I mean, and I keep going back, take the trans thing out of it.
Mhm.
I mean, what's wrong with men? I mean, nobody ever says that. Why are men so angry?
Right.
Because that's what it always, 99.9% of the time, it's men committing these horrific crimes.
Mhm.
But we can't make that large generality, right?
The
know.
person
It's just so
wrote
sad.
they wrote things on the, as you say, the magazines, the handles of the guns that have all the bullets, like, where is your God? Racist things. Apparently they didn't like Jewish people. They wrote the names of other school shooters that they idolized. Like, this is a
Yeah,
cuckoo
he like
crazy
Adam
person.
Lanza. It was
Yeah,
just was like,
yeah.
ugh.
They're nuts. This
Yeah.
person was nutso. Yeah.
And he was even saying, like, I think it was on his YouTube channel, he was trying to express himself without getting on a watch list. Like, he understood, or in his journal he wrote that I need to get my thoughts out without getting on a watch list. Like, he understood that what he was doing. And that's the thing, when people are like, oh, he's mentally ill. Well, obviously you have to be mentally ill to kill children. Like, you can't be in your right mind to do that. But at the same time, you're also well aware that you are planning something horrific. And I'm sick and tired of trying to get into the minds of the people like this.
Yeah.
And I'm also sick and tired of people that want to unalive themselves, taking other people, innocent people with them.
Right.
I want to get the people that have these terrible thoughts the help that they need. Unfortunately, in this country, we don't pay for that. We barely pay for healthcare. You know what I mean? And that's like you paying for healthcare, let alone mental health care. Even though we yell from the mountaintops, it's mental illness, we don't want to cover it, right?
No.
So since we're not going to take care of that, it's like you're on your own. And so I'm just saying, like, we're not going to help these people anyway. Can we just stop taking innocent lives? Like, I just wish people this, and I hate calling it a trend because since Newtown, but it's just like, when the hell did it get so awful that you had to take not only lives with you, but children? Like, it's just awful. It's absolutely awful. And I don't want to be desensitized to it. I don't want to feel like, oh, but I think they were saying over the last couple of days, there was like 4 other mass shootings in Minnesota. By the definition of a mass shooting, this is insane. And we'll have the same conversations about gun control and all that. I'm tired of the conversations. Nothing is going to be done. There'll be thoughts and prayers. There'll be the political talk about guns, and then nothing will be done. So we might as well just end the conversation, pray for the people that's lives were lost, and understand that we live in America and nothing will be done.
Because we don't value those people.
No.
We don't value our children. That's why it's okay. And that's why we do nothing.
We do nothing.
Meanwhile, you have kids at this school. The older kids are protecting the younger kids. I mean, you think about what went on inside that church when the bullets started coming through the stained glass windows.
Yeah.
You have the older kids trying to protect the younger kids. You have the adults trying to protect the kids. This is not okay. And again, I go back to Kamala Harris, where she says, we don't have to live like this. This doesn't have to be the way it is.
But
why would we accept it? Why would we accept that this is the way it has to be? We shouldn't.
America.
How many more people do we have to lose until we finally get fed up enough to say, we're going to vote for the person that says this isn't the way it has to be?
It won't ever happen. And
I guess these 2 kids today didn't matter. So whatever.
I know. And I feel your emotion, and I hate to be so heartless about it, but my heart has been hardened by it because, and I say Newtown because that broke me, but every single one after, when those teenagers went to Washington, D.C., begging lawmakers to do something, and they were literally ignored, right? Made fun of, right? It's just by politicians, by Marjorie Taylor Greens and all these people defending the First Amendment. as if it's written, handed down by God or something. And then they say that they're pro-life, which is such nonsense. I hate to be so callous about it, but nothing will be done. Mark my words, it's not a hard bet. You could bet the house on it. Nothing will be done after this one, nor the next one, or the next one. And there will be a next one. I mean, I hope and pray that the generation of Newtown and all of them growing up and running for office, that maybe they will do something. But that's our hope, is that they're like, yeah, we grew up in this. Maybe we can stop this nonsense. But not these old folks that think that the First Amendment is written in blood. It will never happen with these people in office. Never.
I'm
Never,
looking
never.
at that interview you rolled of that little boy who was interviewed, and I'm just thinking of him. There's the next generation of gun activists, right? Of gun
Maybe.
control activists.
Maybe.
That's the most I can hope for at this point. You see people, from the Parkland shooting that are now making a difference. And so I guess the only thing I can hope for out of all of this, since we're not doing anything about it, is that, okay, well, maybe we'll get more people that care and more young people coming up that can make a difference. So David Hogg is the other guy, is the Parkland who is now making a big difference. And so you hope that kids that are going through it now will be the ones to save us from the rest of this.
Well, you would hope so. But again, you have to also keep in mind the things that are being taught on the other side, right? Mm-hmm. That things are being taught against David Hogg. Oh, look at that wuss. I mean, he was literally in a mass shooting. He survived a mass shooting. He's trying to do something. And yet he is being attacked by people simply because he wants responsible gun control, right? And it's the things that parents teach their children. And I get it. If you live in a state where guns are just a natural part of life, right? Farms and things like that. And you need them, they to do the job or whatever. I understand that there is responsible gun owners out there, but you also have to understand that there's too easy of gun access in this country.
Yeah.
And so not everybody needs a gun. And it should be harder to have weapons of mass destruction, and nobody needs an AR-15. And I don't give a crap what you say. Oh, it's not a big deal. People kill people, blah, blah. No, it's just so, it's such an extension of the male member that it doesn't actually matter. Like if you need it for farming and your actual job, that's one thing. But just to do it to shoot a sport, given what happens in America, is ignoring a fact that is killing children.
Do you have to, when you buy a weapon, do you have to take a psych test?
No.
And I mean, I'm not saying that those wouldn't be easy to pass for someone who's trying to hide illnesses, but it would seem like that's the very least we should do.
There's a background check.
If we
there's
think
like a whole
illness,
period.
if we think mental illness is a problem, and even, hardcore NRA people will admit, well, it's mental illness. That's the problem. It's not the guns. Well, great. Then before you give a gun to someone, let's make sure they're not part of the problem, that they're not the person who, maybe shouldn't be the one having a gun.
Yeah, but then what if you develop a mental illness? What if you develop an anger problem? What if you just, know what I mean? Like, that's the problem. The problem is so big.
It's the red
There's
flag.
so
law.
many guns,
Those are the things that will save
that's
us.
Exactly. People utilizing the red flag laws. So, of course, I always hope, and pray that there'll be some sort of change, but I'm not betting on it. Another thing that I wouldn't bet on is that there's just absolutely awful people out there. This is another thing that's taught. I saw this video that was really, really sweet. And the whole slogan was, racism is taught. And it was these little kids, and like they were on a bus, and it was like this white little kid, and they were like looking at a black guy on the bus, and they were making faces. And, it was just like people of different races looking at each other. And it was kids interacting with adults. And, and it was just this whole thing. It's like, nobody hates each other from birth.
Yeah.
These are things that are taught. You have to teach hate. You have to teach discrimination. There is literally no way that a baby, all things being equal, in a community, is
Mhm.
ever going to wake up and be like, I don't like that person just for the color of their skin. That's not going to happen. But if this story that you put in the rundown of this thing that also happened in Minnesota of this woman who used a slur while holding her own child. Now I'm going to show you guys the video, and it's really awful. It's bleeped though. This is teaching. This is literally how you teach children to hate. And if you want to know where it starts, this is exactly how it happens. Hold on, let me share my screen. This is how it happens. And it's so awful. She's just like awful, awful. Okay, here we go.
You call him the child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right.
She's using the N word.
Yeah.
Nobody digging to you. That little kid, you call him the little child? Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act
That's
like.
what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know that's a hate speech, and you can be that.
I don't give
Huh. Okay, we'll see about that. What the internet has to say about.
So apparently
Wow.
the story
Man.
behind this is this boy, this black child, has autism.
And 5-year-old child, right?
5-year-old. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
5 years old, has autism. So obviously, and according to the article, doesn't know boundaries very well, and was in this woman's diaper bag, I guess, and was taking this applesauce or something out of the bag. And this woman, instead of having any sort of grace or empathy, or just doing anything, parent like, "Hi, sweetie, that's not your bag," like as any normal parent would, or find the other parent and be like, "Hey, get your kid." You know what I mean? She called the kid the N-word.
She chases him down. The kid's running with the applesauce packet, and she's chasing him down. You or I, we would go, "Oh, guess he was hungry for applesauce." Okay.
And she only
And
bring
we'd give
one?
her-
Like,
Yeah, exactly. You have a pack full of applesauces, and if you
like, come
don't,
on.
then
Exactly.
you just give your kid an applesauce when you get home. It's fine. We
It's
would
not a
kind
big
of
deal.
shrug it off and laugh with the other parent and go, sometimes things happen.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have thought that maybe that the kid was neurodivergent or autistic or whatever.
Right. No.
I would have just thought, oh, kids, kids are crazy. Kids do funky things.
Right. He
And
saw the applesauce and he wanted it. It's a kid. It's a
wouldn't-
5-year-old.
I wouldn't
Right.
even have batted an eyelash. I mean, that's things. You're at a public park with a million kids everywhere, and kids are wacky and they do stuff sometimes that's unexpected. The last thing I would do is chase the kid down, and
Oh,
I
God,
certainly
no.
wouldn't have called the child names ever.
And certainly not the N-word.
Never.
And then especially, and again, because I've never been in this situation where someone has pulled out a camera to document me being an awful person. So
Right.
sorry. Thank God, right? To then continue to
Double
do it,
down. Oh,
holding your child.
Yeah.
Now that baby looked young, but what are you showing that 5-year-old black child and whatever age your white child was? Like, what lesson are you teaching these children? It's just awful, Kim. And again, racism is taught, and these are the ways in which it is. It's just
white
that's it.
supremacy
Mhm.
is alive and well.
Mhm.
It is resurging because of the ugliness politically in this country.
Yes.
It's okay now to let your racist flag fly. At one point, it was you were racist, but you didn't want people to know that, right?
Mhm.
You could maybe teach your kids hate, but it wasn't on the
Right.
on the open.
Yes.
Some people will say, "Well, I'm glad that it's on the open. At least we know who these people are."
Right.
I don't want to see that. I don't
No.
want kids at the
Keep it-
park
yeah.
exposed to that. I just read this book for book club. It's by Jodi Picoult, and it's called Small Great Things, which
Oh, it's your book club book. You were telling us about it last week, right? Yeah.
book club book. And it's about, you see in this book how this person is drawn to white supremacy. They've had a hard life,
Okay.
they're ripe for the picking when they get recruited, and you kind of follow that. And then the story is about this black nurse who is called to treat this white supremacist baby and what happens. And there's a big court case over it, but you go through and it's based on 3 characters, and one of the characters is the white supremacist.
Okay.
And he goes to these white supremacy gatherings where one of them's a kid's birthday party. And the piñata is of a Black person. So they're all beating that with, I'm not joking. And if you can think it, it actually happens. And it's an eye-opening. The words they use around, they gather the children's for around the white supremacy leader for lessons. And he even says you have to teach children how to hate.
Yeah.
The white supremacist says that.
Exactly.
You have to teach them hate. They aren't born with it. Here's how we do it.
Exactly.
And so when I see this video in real life of this hateful, awful, horrifying woman, I think to myself, she's one of them.
Exactly.
She is white supremacist all over her. You don't use that word. You don't fling it around a playground like that unless you feel awful comfortable with yourself and where this country is headed. And you think that, there's so many people that will support you. And there are.
Exactly.
Because this lady has a GoFundMe. Is it a GoFundMe?
It's called like Go, what's it called? It's not a GoFundMe. Go share something.
Go share whatever. But it's a way for people to donate money to her. And so far, more than $800,000 has been raised for this woman's legal battles. But what she says is
GiveSendGo.
GiveSendGo.
It's a Christian fundraising platform.
Well, go she will, because she's now using that money to move somewhere else out of this community. She says she's the victim of silly misinformation, but it's not misinformation when it's all on video.
Yeah.
Nope, not at all. So she says life-changing events are at play, and we have all of you to thank for that. Keep yourselves fighting. Keep fighting for the First Amendment.
Yeah, she's been charged with 3 counts of disorderly conduct. Each carries a maximum potential penalty of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine, though actual sentences in Minnesota tend to be lighter. So her arraignment's set for October 29th. And so I'm pretty sure $800,000 is a little bit more than she needs to handle, whatever she's going to face in court. So she's milking it. And this is the MO of all of these hateful people. If you see it, remember, they'll have these debates that go viral and these idiots say the most hateful, heinous stuff, and then they get hated on or they lose their job. And what do? They get a GoFundMe and they get other hateful people to donate, and then they make a ton of money. It's a grift. It's a total, well, I guess it's not a grift. It's just, hey, hateful people, let's go raise money for this hateful person. And all the other people that support you. And you realize how many other people have a few extra bucks to throw your way, and you get away with it. And they're like, it pays. It pays. Hate pays, apparently.
So a couple corrections to the story. The initial report says the child was 5. The criminal complaint says the child is 8. Could be a small 8-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
Also, it was the father of the child who ran after to try to get the applesauce back, not the lady. Okay, so a couple corrections there. But the NAACP started a GoFundMe for the family of the child.
Oh, good.
And it has raised $340,000 as compared to the $800,000 raised for the hateful racist lady. So
wow. Well, that $340,000 is a heck of a lot of money for this little kid. Jesus. I guess that's nice.
I don't know, maybe if it's for legal fees for a civil complaint or a civil case or what it is, but I don't know.
Well, I'm seeing here in the article, the GoFundMe had raised, like you said, $340,000 when it was closed in May per the family's wishes. So apparently they're like, oh my God. So even they're like, that's a lot of freaking money. Like, why are people? Again, if you want to, I'm going to say this. If you want to donate to GoFundMes, that is completely your right. But sometimes GoFundMes don't need to, continue. Like they should be shut down. And $340,000 for a child that, yes, I think was very much hurt by this. I think, let's shut it down. We don't need to be donating to that anymore. Because again, But I think
It's
the whole point of us
total
talking
ugliness. Yeah.
it's ugliness. And
Mhm.
again, we don't need to teach children to hate. It's all I remember not that my parents raised me in a very loving household, but I always laugh because obviously my father and I are from very two stark, different political spectrums. And I always remember him looking at me, and I think I've shared this before, where he looked at me, I think I was in my early 20s or even late teens, and he's like, just vote the way I vote. Like, I would never lead you astray. Like, and he meant it not in a like sarcastic kind of way. Like, I'm your dad. Like, why wouldn't you?
I know what I'm doing.
Right. Like, why wouldn't you? And I remember looking at him like, nah. And I remember thinking to myself, because you raised me this way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to think for myself. Right. And when I see hate being taught, I just wonder how much love and independent thinking is even going on in these households, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you like, is that woman even loving that child? Is there worse things happening in that household if she is sitting there with this kid on the hip yelling N-word, N-word, N-word? I worry about what's going on in that household. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what else horrible crap is happening underneath that roof if you're teaching hate like that?
Who knows? In the book, the white supremacists love their child. So there is love for their own offspring. But if you look at the way the white supremacist himself was raised, he had a rough life, and you could tell why he was then prime pickings for people that would come after him.
Why he was passing it down.
I don't know, but it's very disturbing in this book when they're talking about, all the things that are going on around these children as they're soaking it up and absorbing it. They bring the kids to the courthouse to protest, and they're all lobbing these horrible racist terms at people. It's a good book. It's called Small Great Things. It's by Jodi Picoult. And if you are at all interested, and that's the overt racism.
Right.
But what they then get into is the way that you can be racist and not realize it. The little things you say, the little things that
hard
people
things,
do. The things that you don't realize about the difference between the way our lives are.
Mm-hmm.
And you go along and you think, I'm not racist.
Right.
It's not me. I have I'm not the one.
You're not aware of it. Yeah.
One woman says, I don't see color. Okay.
What are you, blind?
That in itself that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That in itself is racist because you're not seeing
Well, you're
reality.
not seeing me. Yeah, you're not seeing me. Yeah.
Anyway, really interesting book. Makes you think and stays with you. Small Great Things.
Small Great Things. All right. Jodi Picoult. Okay,
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another thing that's, speaking of marginalized communities versus marginalized communities, just because you've been marginalized doesn't mean you can't marginalize others.
Yeah.
Did you hear about, this is an interesting one, what Snoop Dogg himself had said? He was on a podcast. It's called It's Giving Podcast by Dr. Sarah Fonino. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Anyways, he was talking about taking his grandson to this Disney animated film Lightyear. And apparently he says he was surprised. I haven't seen this movie.
What's it called?
He was Lightyear. I guess I'm assuming it's from it's the movie about.
Is it like Buzz Lightyear?
Yeah, I think I didn't see it, but I'm assuming it's called Lightyear. It was Disney, so I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
But he was surprised that one of the characters has two moms. And then Snoop says, they're like, she has a baby with another woman. Well, my grandson in the middle of the movie is like, Papa Snoop, how does she have a baby with a woman? She's a woman. And he's like, oh, S word. I didn't come for this S. So he's like, I remember thinking, I just came to watch a goddamn movie. Snoop said that his grandson, who was confused by the same-sex couple, asked him, they just said she had a baby, but they're both women. How does she have a baby? He's like, fuck me. I don't know why I said that word. I said S word. I'm scared to go to the movies. Y'all throwing me in the middle of this, and I don't have an answer for it. So he's getting a lot of pushback. He's like, it threw me for a loop. He's like, what part of the movie was this? These are kids. We have to show it at this age. They're going to ask questions. I don't have the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, what do you mean you don't have the answer? Have you not heard of adoption? Have you not heard of same-sex marriage? Have you not heard of these things? Now I can understand being in the middle of a movie and a small child looking at you and you being like, this is a longer conversation that I need to have outside of a quiet movie theater, right? But you can also just say they're married or adoption or whatever, right? Like, we'll talk about it later. I don't know. But we live in a society where same-sex marriage is not abnormal. Like, or gay couples in and of themselves are not uncommon to see. So for Snoop Dogg himself to act like this isn't something his children are going to encounter, even in the school pickup line, is insane. Like, this is something you need to prepare your children for. And if you're not, you're setting them up for failure. And I think he's also, if he does not handle this right, he's going to be teaching the wrong thing. He's going to be teaching discrimination, right? And homophobia. Because it's how you have these conversations, how you normalize it or don't normalize it, right? These are the moments that matter. I remember when I had my children, I always remember telling myself, it's the first time they ask you certain questions, the first answer you give. You can have retakes, but it's that first reaction that's going to stick with them. And some I've failed and some I've done well with. I'm not perfect. But
some you replay and you're like, God, I could have said that. I could have answered that so much better.
But I try to get some of these big ones as right as possible. And because it's how you respond is how they're going to respond in the future. So if you're like, oh, F that gay S, you know what I mean? Like, they're going to be like, yeah, that's how they're going to think. Or they may not, but it's important when you have little kids to teach them, in my opinion, inclusivity, right? This is the world you live in. You live in a world where gay marriage exists, homosexual people exist, right? This isn't a world in which you get to decide whether or not people exist. They exist, whether you like it or not. Like, you may not agree, which is a weird thing to say. Like, you don't get to agree whether people exist, but apparently some people think that. Yeah, there you go.
That's Snoop dressed up as Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just it was a weird response.
There have been moments where there's a word used in a movie where it's asked later on, what does the R word mean? Or what does this mean? Especially as Julia was starting to get older and older. And now I'm getting it with Jacob. He's still, PG-13 and under, right? But when you start kind of transitioning, there's a lot of questions that happen.
Yep.
I'm transitioning to older kid movies is what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
And more mature content type of things. And when you, like I have maybe had more of a clamp on what they're allowed to see, and then you kind of release and they're able to see more, you're going to get more questions.
Of course.
And there have been times where words have been used and I've been asked and I think, oh, geez, I'll even think it while the movie's going on. Oh, geez, I know this.
You're like, it's coming.
Now I'm going to think of a good answer. Why do they have to use that one word? They could have said something else. And here we go.
The word exists. You might as well have the conversation.
Yeah, here we go again. This is going to be another weird conversation. But you have to do it. You have to be there. I completely agree with what you're saying. He's doing his grandchildren at this point a disservice.
Right. Absolutely.
It may be that he's of a different generation. You don't like to think of Snoop as old. How old is Snoop Dogg? But I think
Snoop
he is.
Yeah, he's a little bit older. He talked about weed and rap and had chicks probably kissing in his videos. I mean,
know.
Come on. Like, let's not act like he's
all of that is very macho guy culture, right? I don't know. I just think that maybe he's of a generation that's not as used to talking about stuff. He should be. Also, this is on the heels of him doing some type of Trump event. So perhaps Snoop, who says, I just don't want to be political and I don't want to skew either way and I want to accept everybody. Perhaps this is another indicator that Snoop leans more conservative.
I think that he's just a chicken shit. I think that he just doesn't. Honestly, I think that it's hard for. I mean, I think that you're right in the extent of. I think that he just doesn't want to have an uncomfortable conversation, and I think that that's a lot of men. Probably you're right of his age and generation, where it's like.
Snoop
I don't want to talk
Snoop
about
is
it.
not old. Snoop was born in 1971. He's only 53. Oh, you have no. You're not in another generation. No way, man. You gotta get it together. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But I don't. I think he just doesn't want to talk about gay marriage or gay sex in a way that's not in a rap video. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they're just loving on each other. Like, that's not gay, right? It's just he's wussing out. That's my personal opinion. He's wussing out in the conversation. You can have a straight up age appropriate conversation, which is sometimes men like men, sometimes women like women. Sometimes they get married, they can adopt children. That's it. That's as far as you need to go.
Right.
And then you can get into more detail as they get older if you need to. Right. Like, I don't even really think that you need to get much into more detail. People love each other.
It's very simple explanation.
It's very simple. Like it's love. Love is love, and that is it. Like that's
it. I will say if the questions keep coming that are more detailed and intricate, you should answer them. Depending on the age of the child. They say, I've been told that, and I've read that, if they're asking, they want to know if they're asking the question, they're old enough for the answer.
Right. They're curious.
Yeah.
I mean, and answer it. Sometimes I feel like a surprise, a little too blunt in my answers, but just like I answer the question that's being asked. You know what I mean? Like, and that is it.
My husband's like, maybe you went a little too far with that one. I'm like, oh, I was trying to explain.
Just answering the question that was being asked, my friend. That's all I was doing. But yeah, so I think that he dropped the ball there, but whatever. Hopefully, and the kids, I'm sorry. These kids are going to have the phone in their hand. If they wanted the answer, they can look it up them damn self. So there we go.
What he did say that's kind of disturbing is he said, what you see is what you see, and they're putting it everywhere.
Exactly. They're
indicating to me that he doesn't want it everywhere. He doesn't want to see this in kids' movies. He doesn't want to see same-sex characters or gay characters.
Yeah, and that's so stupid. It is so stupid. And that's what I hate. I hate it when they say, and I've heard people in my real life say this all the time. It's like, why do we have to see so many Black commercials? As if again, I say this all the time, as if white is the default. Right. What do you mean a Black commercial? Those are just people. You notice that they're Black, right? Oh, I thought you didn't see color.
Yeah. Or it's a Black movie. What do you mean it's a Black movie?
Exactly.
Does it have Black people in it? Because it has a couple Black stars?
Exactly. Right. And so these are the same people that are saying, why does race have to be part of everything? But then they notice when the commercials only have Black people in it. It's like, you can't live it both ways, people.
And you would think that Snoop, who probably grew up maybe hearing people say that, or not feeling represented in commercials or movies or what have you, would then look back and go, oh, I'm saying the same thing people used to say about African Americans in commercials.
Marginalized
and
people.
I'm saying it about gay people in commercials, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, goodness gracious. Thank you. Dinner has arrived. Wow. Nice. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. It's like marginalized people against marginalized people. And it's like, you don't see what you're doing.
Right.
You don't see how that reads and how kind of you can't put yourself in the other person's shoes. It's like, do we have to insert Black people into the word gay people? And then how does that make you feel, Snoop?
Thank you.
Right. Do we have to see all these Black people everywhere? They're putting them in all these movies. How do I explain that to my kids? What are they doing in there? Right? Like,
it's a disappointment because Snoop was so awesome during the Olympics. And, he seemed so welcoming and so just affable.
He is. I don't want to throw the Snoop out with the bathwater. You know what I mean? I don't like to, and again, we're going to switch to a little bit of politics in a second. I don't want to be absolute. because I feel like that's because we're going to talk about the Democratic Party in just a bit, and where we're going. I just feel like we do this, right? Snoop said this, so now we're going to put him in a column, right? He did this one thing, and we're writing him off, right? Like, no, Snoop is bad. I'm not writing Snoop off. I want to educate Snoop. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, Snoop, gay people exist. Have the marginalized talk with him. He may not agree, right? And that's okay as well. But what he said is also not okay. We can express that. Hopefully his grandchildren are listening. But what I don't want his grandchildren to pick up on is the intolerance of educating people on why they're wrong. Does that make sense? And that's where I think, and now I want to kind of talk about where the Democratic Party is going. That's where I think the Democratic Party has gone wrong. Is sometimes we get up on this pedestal of, oh my God, how could you have ever thought that, said that, done that, whatever. And now we're done with you, right? And we become what we've been called the intolerant left, right? Like, not that the right, believe me, I'm not comparing ourselves to the right. The right is ridiculous. They're the ridiculous right? But we need to be what we claim to be, which is inclusive. And I see it all the time, and I agree, if you think that X, Y, and Z is okay, I'm not okay with you. Like, I understand that mentality, but I want to be more about, let's explain it to you and let's hope that you see differently, because it's really hard to get someone across the line if you've written them off and you've told them a million times that you've written them off. This story really kind of concerned me. It was ABC News. So Democrats are eager to obviously turn the page. This line is what concerned me the most. The DNC reported having around only $14 million cash on hand.
Yikes.
As of the end of July. The Republican National Committee had $84.3 million of cash on hand. Now, I understand Trump is president. Okay, so we have war chests and things like that. I get that. But you would think, with the outcry of the democracy that we are losing, that we would have more than $14 million in cash. That is insanely low.
Yeah.
Campaigns have been run on more than that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Well, this isn't necessarily the candidate. This is the actual
DNC.
Party committee, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But still,
it doesn't surprise me, because you get all these emails from the DNC, and unless you are motivated by a candidate, are you then motivated to give? Probably not. When it was Trump versus Kamala Harris, they had cash rolling in. But now we're in the first year of a 3-year term. There's really no candidate to support yet. And so I can understand that their giving is down for the DNC.
we are supposed to be like gathering up, I feel like, some sort of war chest of our own. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I don't want to wait for candidates. That's my worry is we should have more on hand just in case. I don't want to wait because this is my fear is we're going to have infighting over candidates and it's going to spread our money out, or we're going to put some money towards a candidate that's going to be flawed. And I know this is politics and those sorts of things happen, but we have a lot of things coming up. Are we going to have any sort of money for Prop 50, right? Are we going to, try to get any sort of outside support for that? Are the blue states going to want to fight for their kind of Prop 50 in their states? So we're spreading ourselves very thin. And then we have that whatever billionaire that's already freaking starting. What was his name? Against Prop 50. The news just came out today. I had Munger, right? Munger's coming out with his anti-Prop 50.
I already have a bunch of don't vote for it mailers, but the polls say that Gavin Newsom has got at least 48% support right now.
I'm hoping. Again, I don't see how anybody should vote against it. And and this idea, Trump saying, that he wants to sue California over redistricting is so, it's so Trump, right? It's like, I want to do it because he literally said, I can do anything I want. I'm president. He's such a child. He is such a child. Yeah, he wants to sue over redistricting, and he thinks it's very likely that they're going to win. He doesn't have any sort of like reasoning behind it, why it's okay for Texas to do it, but California
Not for
can't
California.
do it. Right. Even though we're doing it in a way in which Californians actually get a say, right?
Mhm.
If Gavin Newsom is successful in doing this, you think he'll run?
I think he's at the top. I saw a poll the other day and I forget who did it, but he's at the top right now of the list of 2028 contenders.
I don't want him to run. I really don't want him to run. I think he's so much better as like a troll for the Republican Party. I think he's so much better at it.
It's been amazing to watch that. That's so pretty good.
He's so much better at it. He is not going to get America's vote. Newsom is
I
not
don't
going
think so
to get
either,
middle
but
America's vote.
I don't think he's ready to admit that. I think he's made efforts to, on his podcast, bring in those people that are so opposed to his way of thinking. Bring in those conservative podcasters that the conservative people will watch because they're on. So maybe he's made some inroads with people who normally would hear the name Gavin Newsom and think absolutely not. I don't know.
I don't think so. I just want him to be, I just do. I think he's excellent as a troll, as the Democratic troll. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that as a very good, he has opened the door. I said this last week for more Democrats to fight fire with fire. He's leading the charge. I'm not saying never run. I'm not saying, because I know that he has presidential aspirations and he should. I just don't think now is the time. I don't think going from Trump to Newsom, that big of a swing is going to freaking happen. But you know what? We went from, Obama, right? So who the hell knows? I don't know. I didn't see this one.
Is caps lock. Donald is finished. He is no longer hot. First, the hands so tiny. Now me, Gavin C. Newsom.
I love that he uses his middle initial, which just cracks me up. It is so funny.
Oh my God, he's hilarious. The tweets are super funny, but I think it's that kind of national attention that is putting his name forward because he seems to be the only one standing up to Trump in this way. And so when you're the only one standing saying, okay, you want to act this way? Here's a mirror. Here's how ridiculous you look. Exactly. Oh, and by the way, I'm making fun of you and you're wrong about everything, you bona fide idiot. Yeah, right? Exactly. It's at least there's someone doing something, saying something. And that's why you have a Gavin Newsom who people are looking at in other states, giving a second look to.
Well, we did have some good news, the Democrats. National Democrats celebrating the results of a special election for the Iowa State Senate. A Democrat won in a district that President Trump carried by 11 points in 2024. Now they're saying it was a low turnout, so it doesn't reflect anything for the midterms. But that's really good. Apparently, this is Iowa's been able to turn over a couple of races for the Democrats. So, and Iowa is a big state, but it's this gerrymandering BS that is really concerning me. So we'll see. I just wish that the whole gerrymandering Prop 50 thing was over and done with. It's like this thing now, in addition to the midterms that's coming, which I'm exhausted already by. And it's only freaking August, He's so annoying, but whatever.
It makes me hopeful. And here's a headline from Fox News. Democrats break the GOP's supermajority in Iowa after flipping the state Senate. My apologies for the speaking there. Caitlin Dre's victory marks the second flip of a GOP-held Iowa state Senate seat this year. Okay, so that's 2 state Senate seats And the most recent one perhaps gives me hope that it could be a trend, that we could be seeing
Right.
people in Iowa that are like, oh, I don't like what the Republicans are doing and I don't want them in control.
Right.
Great. If that's what this means, fantastic. I need something good to hold on to. I'll take it. Yeah.
The thing is, and I was talking to someone at work, actually, because I'm the health clerk, I was talking to the actual district nurse today.
Mhm.
And she was saying, she's like, you know what I haven't heard anything about? COVID shots, flu shots, when are we supposed to get them? And I was like, that's because the guidance has changed, specifically over COVID shots. My best friend's son has COVID. My daughter's sick. She doesn't have COVID, but just, it's going around. Usually you hear things right now like, when do you get your flu shot? What? It's just the messaging because Trump doesn't want it, right?
Mhm.
That's been the thing is we don't get it. And then we were talking about the fact that someone she knows. Oh, no, it wasn't. We were talking about that Bruce Willis. Did you see that Bruce Willis special on, I think it was ABC?
Mm-mm.
They did this whole special. I didn't see it. She saw it with his caregiver and his wife.
Okay.
And about how it was more with the wife, about how she had built like this whole second house for Bruce Willis because he needed round the clock care and, just raising the kids and everything like that. But anyways, apparently there was a doctor that said, in 10 years, what Bruce Willis has, we'll probably have a cure for it.
Really?
That's what he was saying. And I looked at my district nurse and I said, maybe. Look at all the funding that he's cutting for all of the research.
Yep.
And all the medical research. And I don't know if he's cut the funding for this. I'm just making an assumption. But
Mhm.
there are repercussions for this administration and the cuts that they're making. They don't know what they're cutting. College research of these colleges that he's doing, he doesn't know what they don't know what they're doing. They don't know the cuts. They don't know the ramifications. And if you think that he does, you're fooling yourself.
Right.
If you think that the threats that he's making against Harvard and all of these other colleges that do amazing things that he has no idea about,
Mhm.
there are going to be long-lasting repercussions for this. AIDS research, cancer research, all of these sorts of things. And I have no idea if the Bruce Willis research, into what he has is part of that.
Yeah.
But it could be, right? And so I was thinking that to myself, and I'm like, I have no idea, but there are so many scary things, and we're only in August, that
Mhm.
could come. I mean, look what he's doing just to the media alone. He was going out. I saw this. He's already attacked CBS, right? He's already doing that. Now he's doubled down on ABC, NBC. He has the FCC in his pocket. Carr won't do anything. Like, he won't stand up to Trump, is what I mean. Like, it's so frightening that we don't have somebody in the FCC that's actually independent. He wants to take control of the federal bank, or, the Fed. He wants control of everything. And now he's coming out and saying, Americans want a dictator.
No, Americans don't want a dictator.
It's like,
Thank you. I think these two Americans don't want
easy.
that.
I
No.
don't.
No.
I thought that's what we were fighting against. A king? We don't want that. He just wants to control everything so nobody questions anything he does. I definitely don't want him in charge of the Fed and making decisions based on his whims, because
No.
remember how many bankruptcies he's had. Can we not defer to him,
Right.
please?
What a mess. I hope he's not allowed to fire this lady. This guy,
Right.
who's the top housing regulator in the United States, instead of doing his job, is poking through mortgage records of
For
all
the
of Trump's
lightest
enemies.
things. It's like an infraction. Like,
They're looking for ways to bust
Mhm.
people,
mortgage.
mortgage fraud or whatever it is, whatever they are accusing, whether it's
Mhm.
true or not. But they're not looking at it for Pete Hegseth or
Right.
Pam Bondi.
Nope.
They're specifically looking at things that they can
Democrats.
find
Mhm.
against Trump's enemies.
Yep.
And so far, the accusations have been hurling about mortgage fraud, allegedly, against Adam Schiff, against New York Attorney General Letitia James, against the Fed Governor Lisa
Mhm.
Cook, all
Yep.
because he wants to replace her with someone else.
Exactly. And he's trying to fire her, and she's like, I'm not, it has to be for cause. And this
very
is not a
sinister.
cause.
Mhm.
It-
This is deep, dark stuff. It's it's like they have somebody looking for some way to get rid of these people or
Mhm.
discredit these people. And I'm feeling like, I don't care what they say about them because I don't believe them. I think they're not really looking for crimes. They're looking for crimes against, they're looking to oust certain people. And I
Of
don't want any
course.
part of it.
He wants yeah, because if he already has 3 people, if he
Mhm.
gets out Cook, he'll have 4 and he'll have control. And again, I would hope that the 3 that he has already on there would still vote independently and for the long term, right? Because I think I was hearing they have 14-year terms, so they're not by the whims of whatever president, and it's for the best of the American people. But still, he wants to be able to tell them, no, I want you to do this, that, cut this. He wants to be able to do and say whatever he wants. He wants to be a dictator. And he keeps saying that. I should be able to do whatever I want because I'm president and the Americans want a dictator. And if he says Americans want a dictator enough, MAGA's going to start saying it because that's what they do. And if they start chanting that shit, I'm done. Like, I'm just freaking done.
Dictatorial things are already being done. Look at the National Guard being sent to Los Angeles, being sent to Washington, D.C., the Marines being sent to Los Angeles.
They're armed. They're armed. They're armed. They're walking with weapons against your own citizens.
Stop that. What? That's so dictatorial. Thinking now of sending them to Chicago, Baltimore, San Francisco, Oakland. Really? Why?
No one's asking for it.
No one is asking for it. I was reading an article today that the National Guard's troops in D.C. are picking up garbage. That's what you're using our military for? Really?
On our taxpayer dime, by the way, because that's efficiency.
He likes to be a big man and send out the troops, and I'm in charge and I have the power. He needs to be fired. He needs to be fired.
I wish, he's been hiding that hand though. He's been hiding that hand. Something's going on
with the hand. Is there some
I don't
kind
know.
of
There's some sort of medical
bruising?
thing going on. Yeah, there's something going on. I don't know.
Old people, their skin is thinner and they bruise easier, right?
Yeah, so he's been hiding something on his hand because everyone's taking pictures of it. And so, again, you could get, IVs, or maybe he's getting I don't know, some sort of juice, to help him keep going.
What?
I don't know.
You think
you can get an IV drip to keep you going. I don't know. I don't know if anything's wrong with the dude. He's old. He's hella old to be president. So I don't know. I don't want JD Vance either. So
I don't know what you think about this, Nikki. Here's the hand. It looks, honestly, it looks like old guy hand. It really does. Old guy hand.
But it's very bruised.
It's very bruised.
Very bruised.
But then again, have you seen the way that he shakes hands? Trying to outpower the other guy. So everyone's squeezing his hand as hard because he's squeezing their hand hard. I'm not trying to make
that hand. One
Trump.
hand looks much bigger than the other, though, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe that's his handshaking hand.
It is, obviously. It's his right hand. So.
Look at the jeweled cufflinks he has.
He's such an asset. Whatever.
Oh my God.
Well, let's lighten things up. I'm going to start with him, though. So he had this marathon. Did you see this headline? I love this. He had a 3-hour something long cabinet meeting. And the headline was, you could have watched the Godfather movie while this cabinet meeting was going on. It was so friggin' long. Okay. And of course it's just a love fest for him. He just goes on.
I was gonna say that's why it takes so long, because before you get to the business at hand,
you have to kiss his ass for
20 minutes
forever.
versus 20 minutes of compliments. That's right.
It's so annoying. Well, I'm gonna lighten things up. We're gonna talk about the bigger news of the week. The most fun news of the week. And I just thought it was so funny. Imagine how famous you have to be that you interrupt a cabinet meeting to do this.
I would love to ask you a serious question, but I have to tell you the biggest pop culture news of the year broke while we were in this cabinet meeting. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are engaged, and the world wants your reaction, sir.
Well, I wish him a lot of luck.
Oh.
I think he's a great player. I think he's a great guy, and I think that she's a terrific person. So I wish them a lot of luck.
On a serious note,
and it doesn't seem like she was.
Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to play that. Oh, well,
I
sorry.
would love to ask you
So
a
yeah,
serious
so he
question,
basically
but
said that they were a
I
nice
have
person. I
to
wish it was
tell you-
louder. But yeah, I was surprised that he went. I'm surprised he went high. I thought he was going to go low. I thought he
Since
was gonna
when does he think Taylor Swift is a terrific person?
I thought he hated her.
He said
said, "I hate
nothing
her."
but bad things about her. He said she's not hot anymore, right? Making fun of her appearance. He's been horrible to her. And the only reason why he has been horrible to her is because the night of the debate, she said, I'm for Kamala.
Absolutely.
That's
Well,
all. That's all
she's
it
not
took.
gonna-
And she's an
yeah.
enemy. And now he says this about her. Fine. Whatever.
Well,
I hope
she also
Taylor
did the
Swift
whole
just
Miss
ignores.
Americana thing.
Yeah.
I mean, she was on Miss Americana, that documentary, and she
Mhm.
did that whole like conversation with her parents. And I didn't
Mm-hmm.
speak out before, and I need to speak out now.
Sure.
Good for her. I want to play this one too. I don't know if you saw this reporter. I'm going to tell you the truth. Okay, so I was at work,
Mhm.
and I kind of did. I will say this. I kind of did what this reporter did, but I wasn't on camera. But it's just because like you've been waiting for this news for so long, you
Mhm.
know?
Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. Taylor Swift is engaged. This, come back to me. She posted it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, it's huge. The ring is ginormous. This
Is
so
she
exciting.
standing in front of the White House? Is this a
Oh
White
my
House reporter?
God.
Yes. Listen.
Oh
What?
my God.
Hilarious.
Oh my God, it's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. It's on her Instagram. Oh my God. 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 I feel like Paul Revere right now. Like, this is a very exciting moment for me in my professional career because I get to announce that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are engaged. As you're talking to Joe Lang, our lovely producer Gabby Ake texted me and said, Taylor Swift's engaged, and you can see it right there on her social media. She put it up in that post that they got engaged with the caption, your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married, with a little dynamite sign there. So very exciting here that we get to break that and tell you about that.
I just cracked up at
Hilarious.
her face because I did the same thing. I was like, oh, I don't know why it's so exciting. It's not like we know the girl, but I
No.
think what a lot of people are saying the same thing. We've just heard so many freaking love songs from
Mhm.
her and witnessed so much heartbreak that we're like, she finally got
You just want her to catch a break finally, right? You want him to be the good guy that he
and
appears
we
to
love
be.
it. I like
Yeah.
him. Although all
Yeah.
of a sudden, I'm going to tell you the truth. All of a sudden, Marley is like anti-Kelsey. She's like, ugh, like he's a really good guy. He's a football player. And I'm like, where is this coming from? I don't know if she's like trying to protect Taylor or something, but I thought it was really, really cute.
I
It
find
was
myself
really cute.
thinking, please don't cheat on her. Could you just like let her have
Oh.
something good for a change?
No, I don't think he is.
Let her have found the good guy.
I really do
Yeah.
think they're a good match. Not that they
Yeah.
give a shit what I think. I think this is what I think. I think she needed somebody that didn't mind the spotlight,
Mhm.
understood the spotlight, and didn't need to feed the spotlight. Like he's a football player. He has his own friggin' money. He doesn't
Right.
need her money.
Yeah.
But he also he doesn't mind the spotlight, but he also doesn't need to feed it. Like I don't need to do all of this stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
adore me, right? He gets it. And he's diversifying. He was in the new Happy Gilmore movie.
Right.
He does endorsement deals. He's doing a clothing line now. Like he's setting himself up for after football. So I definitely think this is his last year of football. Yeah.
But
They're going to be a power couple.
when he's out of the spotlight for football, do you think maybe that if he doesn't end up becoming some kind of a TV star or get some type of deal where he's a sports commentator or something, where he is constantly not on camera and he doesn't have the attention, will he kind of just, I don't know, wither away under the bright lights of her career?
He has a very popular podcast with his brother,
Right.
who also retired and is very popular on the New Heights podcast.
Yeah.
I do think that they'll bring him on the NFL. He's married to Taylor Swift. Him being married to her alone brings attention. And I think he's going to have a clothing line. And who knows? He also might be a dad. Now, I don't know if she's going to have children. Somebody was saying she's 35.
She better
Doesn't
get
she want
busy.
kids?
Yeah.
Oh, this is my thinking. I totally thought that Taylor Swift would have frozen her eggs by now. Like
She might have. How
I
would we know?
thought,
Yeah.
I would have thought she's rich.
Yeah.
I think all rich people, especially celebrities, have frozen their eggs. And the ones that have not had children,
Right.
I think, have frozen their eggs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't you? You can afford it. Like,
No reason not to. Absolutely.
But this is why I would not talk about having children, is because Beavis Butthead incarnate, Charlie Kirk, says shit like this.
Reasons why Taylor Swift has been so just kind of annoyingly liberal over the last couple of years is that she's not yet married and she doesn't have children. I say this non-sarcastically. I say this as a husband and a father. Having children changes you. Getting married changes you.
Yes, I'm married. I have children.
I hope that America's biggest pop star marrying the pharmaceutical spokesperson
Stupid.
ends up conservatizing them.
Conservatizing.
Taylor Swift might de-radicalize herself.
This guy's an
I
idiot.
come back down to reality. I want them to have lots of children.
But you have to hear
It
this.
teaches something
It's
about
crazy.
teaches you something about yourself. Deep down, I think Taylor Swift actually was raised as a conservative that has gotten kind of caught up in this metropolitan liberal stuff, and she doesn't quite have an attachment to the conservative backbone that she was raised in. But this might reattach her in the best possible way. And I'm not saying this sarcastically.
He's
seen
embarrassing
this happen time and
himself
time again.
with stupidity.
When people start to get married and have children, it starts to change your politics.
Now I'm going to pause it right here. That doesn't make any sense. He is basically saying if you get married and have kids, you become conservative.
No.
How is that possibly true? Like there are so many families that are not. But you have to hear the end of this. I was cracking
It
up.
starts to clarify your worldview.
No.
And for Taylor Swift, who obviously is very popular and incredibly supported, Taylor Swift might go from a cat lady to a JD Vance supporter. And I think we should celebrate that.
Jesus.
I think that Taylor Swift having 2 or 3 children, she should have more children than she has houses. That is my challenge, Taylor Swift. And I'm not being sarcastic. I think that if she ends up having children, she'll stop this kind of liberal endorsing Joe Biden nonsense. And we want Taylor Swift on Team America. We want you to leave the island of the wokies. And we would welcome you with open arms. One of the reasons why so many people on the right have been just skeptical or at least a little bit negative on Taylor Swift
watch that crap.
Up until this point, that's not a great role model for young women. To wait all the way until you're 35 and just put your career first. We just talked about this with Katie Miller. However, there's a great chance to change that. It's a great chance for Taylor Swift now to get married and have a ton of children. You can certainly afford it, Taylor. And Taylor Swift has been all, through America and the ups and the downs. And if you feel that violent shaking in your home, that is the earthquake of the pop culture. If you hear that high-pitched scream, those are the young ladies on your block screaming. And honestly, Pfizer pays well, baby.
Oh, geez. Hurry up.
I mean, I'm impressed. I got to be honest. We don't know exactly how much Pfizer paid, but boy, that is some impressive carrots right there.
Okay, hurry up.
That right there has his own zip code. I'm impressed. All kidding and sarcasm aside.
He offends me.
As an aside.
I know, but I want him to say the part.
Engage in reality more and get outside of the abstract clouds. Reject feminism.
Oh, stop.
Submit to your husband, Taylor. You're not in charge. And most important,
listen,
I can't wait to go to a Taylor Kelsey concert. I can't say it without laughing. You got to change your name. If not, you don't really mean it.
If you don't change your name, you don't really mean it. I was like, are you friggin' kidding me right now?
First he can shut it and then he can shove it. How about that?
I loved it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. You have got reject feminism. Change your name.
Misled. Like he doesn't understand.
The thing is,
he's a dumb guy. Like he's actually not intelligent.
No, he's so stupid. He never went to college, by the way, and that's why he talks women out of going to college, because he doesn't want women to be smarter than him. And that's why I play him. But the fact that he was just going off on have tons of children, reject feminism, give up your career, right? It's all to take away power from a very powerful woman, and then change your last name, because if you don't mean it.
And submit
to your husband.
I'm sorry.
Are you serious?
Did you watch the New Heights interview where Taylor Swift was on?
Yes.
You watched parts of that? Okay.
Oh, I watched the whole thing.
She was so supported by Travis Kelce
God, yes.
and lifted up. There is 0% chance that anyone is submitting in that relationship.
No, he would not want her if she submitted.
No,
he would not want her.
That is
all.
a relationship.
Yeah.
If what we saw on camera is any indication, it's a relationship of equals, of respect, of loving each other and rooting for each other's success. No. And does he think that by having children, it's going to make her love cats any less? That's dumb.
No.
He's a stupid person.
Those are her first babies.
Oh.
Those are her first babies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now everyone's just talking about the wedding. Now, okay, here's my question.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead. Go.
Do you think that getting married and having babies changes your politics? It changes your worldview? Do you think that?
I think that, I don't think it changes my politics. I think that it changes the issues that become more important to me.
Sure.
I definitely think that. I think that, for instance, I think, the neighborhoods that I live in, I become more involved in local politics, probably,
right.
School board meetings and things like that. I think, obviously things that involve children become more important to me. Yes. But as far as whether or not I became a Republican or a Democrat, I don't think that changes anything about
Not at all.
No.
I will say that where I lived to keep my children as safe as possible, that may have changed, right?
Yeah.
But my politics, if anything, it made me more interested in politics and more passionate about that because of the world I'm leaving behind. So when I look at equality, when I look at issues like we were just talking about with Snoop Dogg, where I want all people to have the freedom to love who they want to love, all of those type of issues become more important to me because I want my kids to grow up in a world where they don't have to face that type of they don't have to think about that because we took care of it.
Exactly.
I want to make sure that my daughter has the same or more rights than I had as a woman. You look at what rights our moms had, and then you look at ours and how our life, like we didn't have to think about if we wanted to make a choice, we could make a choice of whether to become mothers or whether not to become mothers. And now in certain states, there are women that don't have that choice. I don't want to leave Julia and Marley worse off with the power to make decisions over ourselves than we had. So no, if anything, my position is even more passionate, even more important because I had children, and not in the way he thinks. What all of a sudden, because I had kids, I want to make sure you get a gun, and I want to make sure we vote in the people that are going to send the bad guys to jail. Is that what he thinks? He can take his stupid, conservative, non-thinking, non-intelligent crap and shove it. And I am shocked that anyone would listen to that show because he's nothing. He is a nothing burger.
So he proposed to Taylor in Missouri, right? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Hold on. I want to make sure that I'm right about this before I say what I was going to say.
The pictures made it look like they were having a wedding already with the garden setting and the art, and I was like, "Where is that?"
So he proposed to Taylor Swift at his Missouri home. Yeah, Kansas City, Missouri, because that's where he plays.
That's what his yard looks like?
Yeah, that's his backyard.
Wow.
That's his backyard. If they stay in Missouri, now I do believe they'll leave because I do believe that he's going to retire. So I don't think let me see where Jason Kelce lives. Let me see where the Kelces live. Jason Kelce lives.
He must be in Pennsylvania, right? Or Philadelphia.
Well, he doesn't. Primary home is in Philadelphia. But he also owns a vacation property in New Jersey. Okay, anyways, the reason why I looked at Missouri is I was like, what are the abortion laws in Missouri? They have a trigger law that bans most abortions. It's in effect. There are exemptions for preserving the life of the pregnant person. I'm just wondering, like, where are they going to set up shop? You know what I mean? Like, where is Taylor Swift going to set up shop with her husband? Where is life going to be?
I thought she lived in Nashville.
No, she wasn't born in Nashville.
No, she wasn't, but they moved to Nashville, and that's kind of where I thought she was based out of. But she has homes everywhere. And the thing about Taylor Swift is she has a private jet. So if she somehow has an issue with pregnancy, I'm sure she could just hop on the jet and fly to a blue state, and it's fine.
Yeah. So her well-known compound is in Manhattan's Tribeca neighborhood. So yeah, but she has a portfolio. She has homes in New York City, Rhode Island, Los Angeles, and Nashville.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about her access to anything.
Yeah, she'll be fine.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's if she has children. Yeah. She might not. I think she will. But she doesn't need to. And that's the thing. Feminism is not, being in the workplace or staying home. It's the choice to do both. And that's it. So she's got the money to do it all. They both do. I wish them well. Now, where this whole wedding, now here's my question. Everyone's like, it's going to be like our version of, Princess Diana's. I don't think so.
No.
I think it's going to be
secret.
I hope it's not this big spectacular thing. I hope they're not going to
pull a Jeff Bezos in Italy with all the celebrities on the boat. They're not going to do that. That's too flashy for her. They're going to do something secret. I don't want it to be
something like that. Yes. I hope it's something.
We'll find out later that they got married.
You think so? I hope so. I hope so. I want pictures. I want to see. This is all I want. I want to see her dress. Obviously, I'd love to get pictures. After the fact. And then I'd love to hear Jason Kelsey's best man speech. Like, that's it. You know what I mean? Like something funny from Jason Kelsey. But that's about it. But I don't need to be, I don't want paparazzi at it. I want her to have like her dream wedding. I don't know why we all act like we're Taylor Swift's best friend, but we are. I think that we're just like, we just been there for the girl and we're just so happy for her. Yeah. And I think that's it. I think that that's really, and I know probably there's so many of you that are laughing at us and are like, why care? But we grew up with Taylor Swift. My daughter acts like she grew up with Taylor Swift. I'm like, no, Taylor Swift started. I remember watching her when I was young and she was in high school and I watched her go to prom with somebody and she wasn't even that big of a star yet. And she was the nicest person. She went to prom with a kid that needed a date and it was on MTV. And I was like, this is a really nice girl. And then she just got,
So I had just reported that she was engaged on Mark Thompson's show, and all of a sudden, in the middle of the news, the phone rings, and it's Julia. She had ducked out of AP Calculus to tell me, "Mom, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are getting married."
I don't know why we care so much, but we do. I'm so happy for them. I'm so happy for them. Yeah. All right. Okay, well, that's our show. Congratulations to Taylor and everyone else that got engaged. If you got engaged on the same day as Taylor Swift, mazel tov. Nobody else cares. Hit that subscribe button and please hit the thumbs up. Share the show with your friends. We will be back next week. If you can support the show, we are 100% crowdfunded and we love our supporters so much. So look in the show notes. We love PayPal and Patreon. And of course, our super chat and super stickers are always live, whether we are live or recorded. All right. We will see you next week. Take care of each other. We love you. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. You're proud, like a beautiful blossom. You're also the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.